David Mckinzie here at Eagle Tennis Club, and today my guest is legendary coach, Hall of Fame tennis coach, Greg Patton, okay? From Wimbledon titles to Grand Slams to US Opens, he's coached them all. This is the Voice of Boise Show. I do want to say this because you've had a remarkable career and just the people you've coached. And just to say a little bit, I mean, you've had, over 17 conference titles, Hall of Fame at BSU, Hall of Fame at UC Irvine, National Coach of the Year, what's that, 2 or 3 times? Twice?
Yeah, twice was, whoa.
Yeah, and to also add on this, I mean, you were in 4 different conferences when you were at Boise State. Record at Boise State was 203, 67, okay, and 7, which is huge. And then also to add, you have coached people of the names of Pete Sampras, Andy Roddick. Who else do we have on here? Patrick McEnroy, Jim Courier, Michael Chang. So tell me just a little bit about how did this journey start in tennis? Because you've touched some of the highest athletic people in this field. How did this start? What drew you to this? And what are the tools of success? I know it's a loaded question, but just want to hear it.
I think it's almost like it's a lot of things. It's definitely enthusiasm and authentic, genuine love for people. If you have that, you can accomplish anything. Surround yourself with the people you want to be.
Whoa, there you go.
You are who you surround yourself with. And I really made it a point to tap people that were knowledgeable so I could learn. Tap people that were abundant in this radiance of joy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I found that in several coaches. Find a mentor. And I found some guys who basically never told me what I lacked, but what my potential was.
For sure.
Yeah, and I think that's really important. And so I took that into coaching.
The people that's going to be viewing this, they know your accomplishments, but take us kind of through how, with you getting involved with coaching the Pete Sampras, those type of guys, how did you get involved in that professional ring? I know those guys were maybe younger at that point.
Yeah.
And to follow up that question would be, what did you learn through that of coaching players, of trying to take them to the next level? More like a higher level of coaching, in a way.
You goal setting and positive belief in them. Is that they can do it. I am not one about negativity. I'll talk about maybe shortcomings and things that you've done wrong, but I don't. I really base everything on a sense of abundance in the player and dreams.
Man.
I love dreamers, and like I said, it was also surround yourself with successful people. In terms of coaching players, to help them realize their ability and their dreams, is you keep those dreams out there, but you make the thing is, this makes sense. There's a lot to this, but you make it fun. You create happiness.
You create happiness.
Right. What you do is, now happiness is an event. Joy is a state of being. Now,
happiness is an event.
Right.
Joy.
By winning a match, for example.
By winning a match.
Or making a shot.
It's a state. But you said joy.
Joy is a state of being.
Joy is a state of being.
Now, and so what you do is you create an environment where practices are a state of joy, that they love to come into it.
That is awesome.
So what we did originally, and back in those days at Irvine, I mean, that was in 1980. So in 80, I was getting those boom boxes and playing music.
Yeah.
And had the guys come to practice and you're playing music. Well, people did not use music in sports in those days. I believe fervently that you create a state of joy, and it's a state of a heightened being for the athlete. It's also like, who plays games until the 20th century?
Yeah.
Children, to learn.
Right. Yeah.
But in the 20th century, we now create man-children like Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, Bjorn Borg, Pete Sampras, is they have a childlike sense of play in this brilliant mind, and they've cultivated this brilliant talent.
Right.
So
they
now,
bring it all together. Gotcha.
How do you bring that there? I believe, I was talking about music, and I love talking about music, but it's a sense of music, and it's also like a sense of play, which is a games-based practice. Now, there's a professor by the name of Dr. Karen Purvis who said that in terms of for things to be retained, for knowledge to sink in and to have that hippocampus work in your brain, is that it takes, in terms of repetition, it takes between 250 or 400 hits in terms for a skill or a knowledge to sink in. Absolutely.
Gotcha.
But with games, it only takes between 20 to 40 hits compared to 200 to 400.
So you're saying with games and with...
You learn faster.
You learn faster with games and with activity.
Right.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not that we're going to hit, for example, I'm a tennis coach, hit 10 forehands, guys, cross court, 10. You're not making it. You're not making it. Then we do that. It takes a long time
for it to
sink in. Sink in, not only intellectually, emotionally, spiritually, physically, that the body starts doing that.
Right.
So what happens is,
interesting.
At games-based, like this, Michael Jordan learned to play on asphalt with his brother.
Right.
And really his dad loved baseball.
Right.
But they just went out, you played.
For sure.
You played. And he didn't make his basketball team until he was a sophomore in high school, right?
Well, see, you kind of, in that answer was incredible. You answered all those other questions, because I was going to ask you how you can develop a successful culture, a winning culture. Yeah. But all those intangibles that you mentioned resemble that.
Right.
So I would say, kind of in our closing question, I want to ask is, how does there's a lot of coaches like Phil Jackson, Steve Kerr, they coach higher class type athletes, right? And some people say, well, how can you manage these type of egos when you have this type of talent?
Right.
So you've kind of touched on the principles of, oh, here's how to develop a culture, how to build a team. Right. But let's flip it on the other side of, okay, now you have successful players.
Right. No.
How do you get past that ego?
No, it's create an environment.
Okay.
That is this. Now, what is it? Welcoming when you first come out.
Welcoming.
The way you start the practice.
Yeah.
Start it with music. Mm-hmm. Start it with music so that there's rhythm, that they get caught in the music.
Sure.
Andy Roddick, I coached Andy Roddick, and he used to wear these little plugs, in his ear, and he had the iPhone, right, or the iPad, and he had this in his pocket. He's playing with this little cord going up, and so I brought music out so he could play and listen to music that he liked that would get him in a really positive state of being, and that's what music does.
Gotcha.
So then I created games, and we had options, we had goals. I always remember that one time I was coaching Andy, and he hit a receiver, the ball bounced and hit the returner. This is the guy that he hit is one of the top doubles players in the world, and he got hit by a serve. I started cracking up.
Right.
I started cracking up. No one's ever, the ball bounces, it slows down, but even he's hitting the ball 150 miles an hour.
Yeah.
That he's the fastest serve in the game, and it hit this guy, and I started cracking. So then Ahmad, who is this guy that says, well, coach, you try to return his serve.
Yeah.
And so Andy was like, I'm going to hit coach.
Oh my
and so
God.
I got out there, and I'm thinking,
and his
don't
serve
get
is
hit.
like 100-some miles.
No, you can't see. I can't see that because my vision's so bad. And I'm going, don't get hit, don't get hurt. So what you've created is a sense of fun, and this. And Michael Jordan, when he played in The Last Dance, what did he do? He was, you can't do this with me. You can't. You dunked on me.
For sure.
I'm going to dunk on you. So there was always this sense of competition, play.
Yeah.
Then so you establish the welcoming with the music. And then what you do is you find the joy when, like, for example, Andy Roddick is hitting serves and he's trying to hit people. Well, I'm getting the best out of him, right?
Right, for sure.
So you do that all the time.
Right, don't get hit, yeah.
I want every guy going to, can't wait to go to practice.
Right.
And they don't, it's not mundane, it's not, and that's how you build champions.
Yeah.
That's how I've been a winner. Is I got a little kid in me, I haven't grown up.
That is
I'm in a
awesome.
state of indefinite immaturity. So, now let me tell you how you end it.
I love that, okay.
You end it. I have two things I end it always with a state of bliss. We're winning.
We're gonna win.
Look at this. Look at this.
God, that is awesome.
And we
man.
did.
So you said, state of bliss.
State of bliss is this.
And we'll close
The
with
way
this.
that we end our practices, and we even start, is instead of us competing against each other, we go into our yoga, our state of Zen, and all we do is hit. And all we're trying to do is, the only thing we're trying to do is make ourselves feel good.
Gotcha.
It's kind of like dancing. It's just like you're moving.
Just feel good,
You're
yeah.
moving, just
Yeah,
feeling
yeah.
good,
Just
feeling
feeling
good. And we're getting here, hit,
Yeah, there we
hit,
go.
hit. And we shape the ball, which means high over the net.
Right.
Shape the ball high over the net, and just keep the groove going.
Right.
Keep the groove.
Keep the groove.
And then all of a sudden we go into games. And so what's happened is we've left practice happy, joyful. So what do we want to do? We
Yeah.
want to go back and do it again.
We want to go do it again.
Again.
Yes.
That's it.
Man, that
So-
is
So I'm saying
Awesome.
that you and I have got to do this again.
absolutely. Now look, Coach, thanks again.
You're welcome,
I appreciate
brother.
it. Now look, I want to get some. We're gonna get some swings in. Just want to see any pointers you might have. I'm gonna see what it takes to have a good serve.
Okay.
So we're gonna do that.
A server hitting balls.